Okay, the week 6 review is going to be a short one. We just got a couple of plays to look at. I'm just going to keep this one short this week. Still having problems with the false starts. All right. So here's yet another example of movement by the offense, especially these interior linemen, that is 100% a false start and needs to be ruled as such. So we're going to see one from the side, and they do it again. We got an end zone view of it. But watch this play. That's a false start. Okay. That's every single time. Even if the defense doesn't react to that, call that a false start. If nobody jumps in a neutral zone, this still needs to be ruled a false start. You see the kids pointing back and trying. They know exactly what they're trying to do. Okay, 100,000% a false start every time, even if no reaction by the defense. If you look here at the second play, can't see it as good from this angle. But let's look at the end zone view on it. 100% a false start. Even if the defense doesn't move, this is a false start. Call that a false start. Tell the coach in the pregame you're going to call it a false start. We need to have a conversation. This is becoming such a problem among so many different schools that we need to be having a conversation in the pregame with every head coach, even if you don't think they'll do it. But every head coach needs to know that any movement that is assumed by us to have the intent of causing the defense to encroach, by rule, that is a false start and will be ruled as such tonight. And we need to tell every coach that, from junior high, because we've seen it in junior high, JV, and especially on the varsity games, this play needs to go away. Okay, we need to make this stop. All right. Now, here's one we don't see every day. Okay, so let me give you the situation here. The home team scored the go-ahead touchdown with 9 seconds to go. After the kickoff, the visiting team has the ball 1st and 10 with, 4, 5, 6 seconds left. They got one play, okay? So we anticipate here that they're going to do something unusual, all right? Probably going to lateral the ball all over the field. That would be, I don't know, what else can you do? It's too far for a Hail Mary. So you got to anticipate either the Hail Mary pass or the laterals. That's your two main options. This is too far for any high school quarterback, most of them, to throw a Hail Mary. So we expect the laterals. Now, here's the problem. What they did here to run this play is they put in a bunch of non-linemen. So the problem is they only have one player in the game right here. The snapper right here is the only player in the game who has a 50 to 79 number on. All right. So this is an illegal formation. Okay. You can't do this. This should have been flagged at the snap for illegal formation. Now, let's talk about how this could have been legal. And let's talk about numbering exceptions. So on every offensive play, the offense by rule is supposed to have 5 linemen, 5 players on the line with numbers 50 through 79. They have to have that on the line every play, with 2 exceptions. 1st down, 2nd down, 3rd down, they can put one player in the game, substitute out one of those linemen as long as the substitute that comes in becomes the snapper and they're in a legal kicking formation. So you've got to have a holder 7 yards deep with a kicker 3 yards behind him, or you've got to have a single individual player to receive the snap more than at least 10 yards behind, what we would think of as a punt formation. All right. That's on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down. You can only change out one player. So this is 1st down. So they could have only swapped out one player. All right. They swapped out 4 players. Okay. If this were 4th down or try, then you could have these players on the field legally as long as you're in a legal kicking formation, of which this is not. The quarterback here is about 7 yards deep, not 10. Okay. So if you're in a legal kicking formation on 4th down, this would be legal. This is not legal 1st, 2nd, or 3rd down, no matter where they're lined up at. Okay. So we got to be aware of that kind of stuff. All right. We got to note it. We got to look for it. We got to expect it. Okay. anytime you're on this last play of the game situation, everybody on the field needs to be verifying that whatever they're fixing to try to do is legal, because they're fixing to try to do something unusual. Okay. And normally we say this is umpire referee to check the 50 through 79s, but on a play like this, it's everybody. Okay. So everybody needs to be aware that this is the last play of the game. This is that situational awareness stuff we talk about all the time. And they're fixing to do something highly unusual, and we got to make sure that it's legal. Now, notice that, like, that kid right there is an ineligible receiver. Okay. All right. Even if they had lined up in a somehow legal way to do this on fourth down, let's say this was fourth down and the kicker and the quarterback was 10 yards deep, that kid's still ineligible. He can't go downfield on a forward pass beyond the line of scrimmage. Okay. Several of them are ineligible, but they throw a pass behind the line of scrimmage, so the ineligible rules wouldn't apply. But it's a forward pass, okay? And we see that neither of our short wings punch anything back, okay? So that's a forward pass. We need to know that. We normally would not do this on the radio during a play, but again, this is an unusual play. We need to come over the radio and say that's forward, that's forward, that's forward, okay? We would normally not do that. Okay. But on this play, on the last play of the game, and we know this is what's coming, we need to be vocal during the play that that's a forward pass, because he throws that a forward pass. And then we get over here and we get a backwards pass and a backwards pass. And then we get a second forward pass. Okay. So the second forward pass is also a foul. So there should have been a flag at the snap, and there should have been a flag right there. Okay. Now, they end up fumbling or trying to lateral, hit him in the head, and anyway, play's over. Okay. Play's over, game's over. All right. So, it worked out, I guess you could say, but we need to do the what if here for a second. If he breaks off down through there and scores a touchdown, we got a problem. Okay. So we got to get flags on. We got to check this stuff and get these flags on the ground. Very unusual play. Okay. It may not ever see it again. Okay. But it may happen again this week. Who knows? We just got to be aware on these situations. Okay. All right. That's week 6. Good luck in week 7. Let me know if you need anything.